All right, so I just saw the Sonic 2 movie, the Sonic 2V, as some might call it, and I'm terribly ashamed, and I'm feeling upset because I have a horrible confession to make. I liked it. I liked the movie. I thought it was a good movie. I'm very upset about this. I watched the movie and I felt happiness and joy, and I wasn't expecting that. Because you watch that first movie and you think this is a boring piece of shit. But man, that first movie walked so that this movie could fucking run. Jesus Christ. Like the beginning of the movie's 2 hours long, and it kind of needed every single second it got, but it still wasted some of those seconds. It I don't want to say it could have been longer, but they could have used their time better. But overall, I'm surprised with how much they managed to do, because that first movie was literally nothing. Like, nothing happened in that movie. It was a road trip movie, right? It was just literally characters go to location and then they go back from location. Like, nothing happened. There wasn't even any significant change in the characters from the beginning of the movie compared to the end of the movie, right? Like, I already did. I saw the fucking first movie before the catastrophe that doomed us all, that doomed the world, right? Like, I already said my piece on that movie. I didn't like it. I didn't like the first movie. So you see the next. So they say like, oh, they're gonna make a new one, and you think, okay, what are sequels usually? They're usually the same thing again, but more. Like you watch Iron Man, you go, that was an Iron Man, and then you watch Iron Man 2, and it's Iron Man-y Manor, Iron Man 2, Iron Manor, right? Or Police Academy. Anyway, but really, the first Sonic movie is kind of like it's a weird comparison. It's kind of like The Purge. You know, the Purge movies? Because that first Purge movie was like boring dog shit. Like, it was just a home invasion slasher film, right? Like, it was your run of the mill, boring, generic, like The Strangers, right? The Strangers fucking movie. But it had this interesting world building thing going for it, where it's like, oh, every year there's the Purge. And so they kind of use this really boring, generic, safe framework to hang this interesting premise on. And then they went, okay, that first movie was successful. It made its money back. Now we can do weird shit in the sequels and really embrace the premise that they set up in that first movie. So that's what the Sonic movie did. It was the boring, establishing movie that didn't need to exist. It was the studio wants to make sure this can actually make money movie in order to justify making another movie that's actually good. And that's what the Sonic movie did. It was it's so dumb. Like, you don't need to do that because Sonic is the biggest thing. Like, motherfucker's got a Macy's Day parade float. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to test the waters. Ooh, will people accept this weird movie? Like, I don't know. I already said my piece on the first Sonic movie. I didn't like it. It's a bad movie. I didn't like it, and it's a bad movie. Both of those things at the same time. And so I was fully... Before I watched Sonic 2, the movie, my expectations were that I wouldn't like it and that it would be a better movie. Right? Because I'm able to differentiate. I'm able to differentiate this is bad and I don't like it. Right? I like things that are bad, that I recognize are bad, but I like them. And I don't like things that I recognize are good. It's good, I just don't like it. Mind-blowing fucking concept, I know. Most people can't get their heads around it. But I was fully expecting to say, okay, they made a good movie, but I still was mad. And I still didn't like it because it wasn't what I wanted them to, right? But, like, I don't know. Either maybe, like, the first movie just beat me down, right? Maybe just, it's sort of like, you know how everyone hated the Star Wars sequels? Like The Force Awakens and Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. Everyone was like, fuck those movies. And I was like, I don't know, I kind of liked them. There was a Star, and there was a Wars, and there was a Star Wars. I think back on that, and I'm thinking, like, maybe I was just going in my head, just be better than the fucking prequels. Like, maybe the prequels had beaten me down so fucking hard that I was just going like, it doesn't matter if it's good, just be better than the prequels, and you're good by default. And they were. Fuck this revisionist history bullshit of, we didn't know how good we had it with those prequels. No, the prequels were still bad. Fuck you. I'm not getting in on this fucking revisionist history bullshit. The prequels were bad, okay? But maybe, if the prequels didn't exist, maybe I wouldn't like the Star Wars movies. The Star Wars sequels, right? Maybe I only feel positive about the Star Wars sequels because the Star Wars prequels dragged me down so badly. And maybe that's how I feel about Sonic 2. Maybe if Sonic 1 didn't exist, because good lord, did it not need to exist. If Sonic 1 didn't exist, maybe I wouldn't like this sequel, right? But then again, I'm like, they should have just started here. They should have just started with this movie. I can't think of anything that you get as an audience member watching that first Sonic movie that is required viewing for this second Sonic movie. I'm like, okay, I can think of one thing. The massive fucking gayness. 1 second. Okay, need to make sure my mic was actually recording. The massive fucking gayness might require the first movie to view, because holy shit was there some, like, just live lizard reaction, straight up gay bullshit going on in this movie. Like, I'm not saying gay like a 14-year-old says gay. I'm saying gay like full-on Pornhub male penetration gay. There was some gay-ass bullshit in this movie. So maybe you do need the context of the first movie to understand the gayness. But still, like, oh, Jim Carrey had a boyfriend. I don't think you need to waste your time watching an entire movie to pick up on that. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. But yeah, it was, I don't know. It's a weird feeling when you go into something wanting to hate it. Expecting to hate it. Thinking to yourself, oh, I'm gonna hate this. And then you watch it, and you're like, oh no. It's getting to me. I'm enjoying my viewing experience. Oh no. Fuck. It's an upsetting feeling. It's like I was wrong, but I had a good time, right? I don't know. It's a weird feeling. But I'm fine with it. You know? Shit. The movie was good, and I liked it. Fuck. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the things that I didn't like, because there actually wasn't that much. It's an unfortunate thing to say, but Sonic is the worst fucking part of this movie. The second worst part of this movie. The worst part of this movie is the licensed fucking music. God damn it, that was the worst part of the first movie, and they didn't fix it. It's still just licensed music all over the goddamn place. Sonic is famous for its amazing music, and instead of using any music from the games, it's like, oh, it's an Easter egg, his ringtone is Green Hill Zone. Fuck off. Instead of using any fucking Sonic music from the Sonic games, and instead of actually having an original soundtrack, you're just gonna use licensed music. Really fucking distracting licensed music. It's so stupid and annoying. It was the worst part of the first movie. It's the worst part of this movie. Why are you doing this? Like, so much of the movie's budget has to go towards licensing those songs. Why? And it makes the movie worse. So much money has to go towards licensing those songs, and it makes the movie worse that they're in it. I don't understand it. The well of Sonic music runs so deep and quenches so vigorously that it's like, why would you waste anyone's fucking time? I'm harping on about this. It's the worst part of the movie, is this licensed goddamn soundtrack. It is so bad. It is distractingly bad. There's one scene where it kind of works, and it only works because it's diegetic. The song is playing in the scene, and the characters hear the music, and it plays into a joke, and it actually works. That's a responsible use of your licensed music. But every other moment, it just is, it's just for the audience, and it's so bad and so distracting. Fucking, you couldn't call fucking Crush 40 and have them do some fucking songs for the movie? It's so bad. Anyway, okay. The licensed music is the worst part of this movie. The second worst part is, unfortunately, Sonic. And I hate it, but I also kind of accept it. It's just really unfortunate. Because you're kind of stuck with the Sonic that they established in the first movie, right? You're kind of stuck with this sad ooh-woo, cringe-ass, reference humor, like, meme character. And that's not Sonic. Like, you're allowed to change the character. You don't have to be exactly what the game Sonic is. Because even game Sonic is a flexible character. It's fluid. You can portray Sonic differently, and he has been portrayed differently. It's okay. Like, Jaleel White Sonic, what's it called? Sonic X Sonic is a different kind of Sonic. Like, there's this great meme. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Versions of Sonic, Sonic X, Sonic Boom. Let's see if I can find it real quick. I'm not gonna find it. It's this pic that's like, different versions of Sonic, and it's like Sonic X, aloof, always sleeping, Sonic Boom, he's just real tired, Maybe I can... I'm gonna be really annoyed if I can't fucking find this now. Whatever. I'll find it later on. I'll put it in. Because I've linked it before, so it is not impossible. Anyway, it's fine. Like, Sonic as a character is really simple, right? He's really a simple, basic character. You really only need, like, 2 sentences, right, to describe him. Cream the Rabbit always has the best line to describe Sonic the Hedgehog, which is in Sonic Rush. She says, like, Blaze is like, who the fuck's this Sonic guy? Tell me about this Sonic... This is how Blaze talks in my head. Tell me about this Sonic guy. And Blaze is like... And Cream's like, how do I describe Sonic? He's like the wind. And that's kind of all you need, right? And that's part of what really fucking annoyed me about the fucking first Sonic movie. Is like, oh, let's give him superpowers, and let's give him electricity superpowers. Anyway. And, like, you're kind of... yeah, this is what I mean when I say, like, the first movie kind of wore me down. Because I just have to accept that this Sonic has peekaboo electricity superpowers. I don't like it. But, like, the first movie wore me down. They're so not necessary anyway. So, like, I can accept different versions of Sonic being different. The Sonic Boom Sonic is not the same Sonic as Sonic X Sonic, is not the same Sonic as fucking Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Sonic. He's a different character from modern Sonic. And classic Sonic's a different character, and they're both in the video games, right? It's fine. But, like, I don't know. Sonic should be cool. And he's not in this movie. He's cringe. It's cringe meme bullshit. I can't imagine... I don't know, maybe they would. I can't imagine being a kid and watching this version of Sonic and going like, he's so cool. You know, like, he doesn't really do anything cool. I mean, like, he does stuff that's cool, but he's like, the Winter Soldier. That's literally something he says. He literally goes like, it's the Winter Soldier over here. The line that, like, fucking sticks in my craw and, like, is like a splinter in my brain is right at the beginning of the first fucking movie. He's introducing the concept of Longclaw, and he's like, she's kind of like my Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I'm like, dude, that's your mom. She's kind of like Obi-Wan Kenobi if Obi-Wan Kenobi vored mice, you know? Like, that's literally what he says in the first movie. I'm like, dude, that's your mom. Who would describe their parent like that, you know? Like, you're just making a reference for the sake of making a... Oh, it's funny because I've heard of it. And oh god, is there a shitload of fucking references in this movie. But, like, it's really unfortunate that they've crafted a version of Sonic that's not cool. And... It's unfortunate. I don't like this Sonic. I don't like this Sonic. This Sonic is fucking cringe. And it's so... I feel like it would be so easy to fix it. Just, like, take out a couple lines of dialogue. Every time he goes, like... Oh, the Winter Soldier. But, like, there's other moments. This is what it was. It's quippiness. It's Marvel quippiness. You know, like, you're watching a Marvel movie, and they're just like... It's like, fuck off. Like, you don't... like... Because Sonic does that, right? He goes, like, kind of like, I'm not taking this situation seriously. Baldy McNose hair. Like, but he does it in a way that's cool, and Movie Sonic doesn't. Movie Sonic does it in a way that's fucking cringe. It's fucking just pop culture references and just like juvenile. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like this. I don't like Movie Sonic. He's the worst part of this movie. It's the surface. The surface is cringe pop culture humor, right? But you can scrape that surface away, and there is substance. They didn't do a lot of the things in this movie that they did in the first movie that pissed me off. Like, the first movie had, like, you can set your fucking clock to it. Every 20 minutes, they gotta have a sad ooh-woo moment for Sonic, where he goes, "Oh, I'm sad ooh-woo. I'm gonna make my bucket list. Oh, sad ooh-woo. Oh, you wanna move away from Green Hills? Sad ooh-woo. Oh, no, it's the darkest moment. The darkest moment." This movie had a darkest moment. It kind of pissed me off, too. But... and the sad ooh-woo moment that kicks off the plot, which is, "Oh, no one's here to give me a high five. Sad ooh-woo." They really stay committed to the fucking high five thing, by the way. Like, they're really holding on to the sad high five thing. But in this movie, like, he's not a sad ooh-woo boy that much. He has, like, 2 moments where he's a sad ooh-woo boy. Not counting the ending. Where they're trying to be like, the darkest moment. But, like, that's just shitty Hollywood writing, right? There's a lot of shitty Hollywood writing. There's a lot of cringe. There's a lot of, like, oh, I went to filmmaking 101 class at my Cal Arts, like, college where I got my degree in filmmaking, and they taught me that you gotta have the moment where the hero saves the cat, right? There's a lot of paint by numbers. Oh, this is how you're taught to construct a script in Hollywood nowadays. I'm still talking about stuff I don't like about the movie. And the second thing I really didn't like about the movie, I didn't like Sonic, and it's kind of like a half and half kind of thing, because Jim Carrey is still just having fun on set. And, you know, he was the only saving grace of the first movie. You watch that first movie and you're like, I want to die. I want to die. I'm going to kill myself. And then Jim Carrey shows up on screen, and he's like, I was Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Oh, try and stop me. Being Jim Carrey, right? And you're like, oh, Jim Carrey, you look like you're having so much fun. I remember what it was like to have fun. And you kind of like, hold on to that will to live for just a little bit longer, because Jim Carrey is here, and he's Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and it's what you needed. And he's still in this movie, being Jim Carrey, and God bless him, because someone has to be Jim Carrey, and I'm glad it's Jim Carrey, because only Jim Carrey can be Jim Carrey in a way that's responsible. I could try to be Jim Carrey, but I just wouldn't be capable of really pulling it off in the way that he can. But someone needs to be Jim Carrey, and God bless him for being Jim Carrey. Every time he's on screen, I'm like, that's fucking Jim Carrey. And it is. Every single time it's Jim Carrey. You know what he's not is fucking Eggman. He's not fucking Eggman at all. He's not Robotnik. He's not Eggman. He is Jim fucking Carrey. And you know what? That's fine. It doesn't need to be... If it was any other actor, I would be really fucking annoyed. You know what I mean? It's like, the concept of this pisses me off. But the fact that it's Jim Carrey, though. Like, Jim Carrey, my sweet boy. My sweet boy Jim Carrey. You could fuck my wife and I wouldn't even be that upset about it. You know what I mean? Like, Some people can get away with it. Some people can get away with moida in this country, and one of them is Jim Carrey. You know what I mean? You can get away with just wiping your ass with Dr. Eggman, but it's okay because you're Jim Carrey. I'm not one of those. I don't really care that much about Eggman, you know? Like, I know some people who really care about Eggman. Like, they really care a lot about Eggman, right? I'm not one of those people. He's important. Got mad love for the Eggman. He is the Eggman, and he got the master plan. You know? I got mad love for him. But, like, yeah, I just don't care that much. Like, I'm not offended on behalf of Eggman that he's not being portrayed appropriately. Because he's not. He's not being portrayed appropriately at all. It's just Jim Carrey. It's not Eggman. It's just Jim Carrey. It's Jim Carrey watched a couple episodes of The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and he's like, yeah, I can Ace Ventura this. I can be Ace Ventura Pet Detective after watching The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon, right? And, like, that's fine. Like, it's kind of annoying. I would like to see Eggman. But it's fine. I like Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's alright. Jim Carrey's alright. Jim Carrey's my nigga, though. That's fine. And if I... Like, that's what it's sort of this cognitive dissonance, where, like, they're calling him Robotnik, and they're calling him Eggman, and they're calling him Robotnik, and they go back and forth, and it's like, really make up your mind. But they're calling him Eggman, and all I'm seeing is Jim Carrey. So when they do the thing that would really piss me off if it was Eggman, I'm not seeing Eggman and getting annoyed by it. I'm seeing Jim Carrey and being entertained by Jim Carrey. You know what I mean? Because the big moment of get fucked that this movie has is Jim Carrey becomes Sith Lord the Grinch. Right? I'm spoiling the movie, by the way. I don't care. I'm not gonna... I downloaded an early version. I'm not gonna upload this until after April 8th. And I'm gonna see it in theaters. Don't fucking get on my dick. I'm gonna see it in theaters. I was gonna see it in theaters anyway, okay? It's Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm not gonna not fucking see the movie. Jim Carrey becomes Sith Lord the Grinch. And if you've seen the movie, you know what I mean. He becomes Sith Lord the Grinch. Have you heard the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise? I'm not surprised. It's not the story the Jedi would tell you. It's Sith Lord the Grinch. He literally just becomes a Sith Lord. He literally just becomes a Sith Lord. And he's green. And it's Jim Carrey. It's Sith Lord the Grinch. So, you know, I look at him and I see Jim Carrey and I see Sith Lord the Grinch. It's not Eggman. And, you know, if it was any other actor, I would be like, how dare you? Because that was such a thing in the games for a long time. And again, I don't care that much about Eggman, but I know a lot of people who do. And that was such a thing in the games for a long time, is they would just, like, you know that TV tropes page that's, like, hijacked by Ganon? Where you think, oh, it's a new original villain, but no, it turns out he was brainwashed by Ganondorf. That was what would happen with Eggman, but in reverse. Where you think, oh, Eggman's a villain. No, actually, it's the cooler new villain guy. It's Chaos. He's the final boss. It's the Bio-Lizard. He's the final boss. It's Neo Metal Sonic. He's the final boss. It's Black Doom. It's Solaris. It's Dark Gaia. Like, it just kept doing it, where it's like, get fucked, Eggman. I'm the final boss now. And it's like, okay. I mean, you can do it once or twice, because the times in Mario that Bowser gets kind of usurped as the final boss, it's memorable and interesting because it doesn't fucking happen that often. When you do it every single fucking game, you start losing the effect a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, they got away from that in the games finally, but like in the movie, you're like replacing Eggman with himself. Because when you replace Eggman in the games, you're kind of like saying, ha, fuck you, Eggman's not villain enough. We need a real villain to finish this game with. So when you have Eggman, when you have Robotnik be like, I'm gonna become the Sith Lord Grinch, you're kind of like saying, Eggman's going like, oh, I'm not good enough right now. I'm not powerful enough right now. I need to become a Sith Lord. Then I'll be cool. Then I'll be a final boss. And it's like, I don't think Eggman would do that. I don't think Eggman would be like, I'm gonna become... I mean, Sonic Forces, he creates Infinite, and Infinite's basically a Sith Lord. Like, Infinite basically has all the powers that Sith Lord Grinch has in this movie at the end. And Eggman could have done that to himself if he wanted to, but he didn't, because he doesn't think he needs it, because he's a motherfucking Dr. Eggman-sama. I just replayed Sonic Unleashed in Japanese, so the way Eggman refers to himself in Japanese is really fucking hilarious to me. He calls himself Eggman-sama, which is like King Eggman, Lord Eggman, that kind of thing. It's Sama. You would call like the Emperor or a god Sama. I don't like... If he was presented with the opportunity, I don't think he would use it. I think he would rather create a robot to become empowered by that source of power, and then be like, look at my genius. I have created something that can harvest and manifest the power of the Master Emerald and use it to conquer the world. I don't think he needs it himself, But in the movie, it's like, oh, only now am I a cool guy. Only now. So, like, I would be annoyed, but I don't accept this as Eggman. I don't accept this man as Robotnik. It's just Jim Carrey. And God bless you, Jim Carrey. You were, 10 out of 10, Jim Carrey was Jim Carrey in this movie. Holy shit. That's what I mean. Like, it's cognitive dissonance where, like, it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. It was one of my favorite parts about the movie, and it pissed me off because this is not Robotnik. This is not Eggman. It's Jim Carrey. But whatever. He was Jim Carrey. I can't get mad that I didn't get Eggman because I did get Jim Carrey. That's not a replacement. But it is Jim Carrey. I'll take a Jim Carrey. So yeah. Those were the two things I didn't like. Sonic. And, the lack of Eggman. I won't say I didn't like Jim Carrey. I'll say I didn't like that there was no Eggman in this movie. That's it. And I think, I think what it really comes down to at the end of the day is, I really like Tails. I really fucking like Tails a lot. So, when we're talking about the things I did like about the movie, we kind of need to start where we need to start. And we kind of need to start with Colleen. Holy shit. She fucking killed it. Way to fucking go. Oh my god. Fucking Colleen. Goddamn. If she's not the best goddamn part of this movie. I can, like... Wow, right? I would think that Tails is the best part of this movie. Me? Who knew that, man? Who knew? Who knew that I would think that Tails was the best part of this movie? Who could have expected? I don't know. God damn. It really is like, as soon as Tails showed up on screen, my opinion about the movie started to shift. Because like I said, I kind of went into this movie wanting to dislike it. And never let it be said that I can't, you know, like, that I make up my mind about something and then that's it. Because a lot of people do that, right? Like with Sonic Forces. Everyone made up their mind that they wanted to hate that game before it even came out, and then they did. They just hated it. They went into it wanting to hate it, and so they did. I went into this movie wanting to hate it. I really did. I'm not ashamed. I'm a little ashamed that I didn't hate it. I'm not ashamed to admit that I went into this movie wanting to hate it. But the fucking instant that Tails showed up on screen, I started going, oh no, it's Tails! It's a Tails! I think the one thing that because, like, oh man, she's fucking just the best goddamn thing that ever existed in the world. The one thing I was, like, really dreading, like, anticipating negative feelings about, was I was really expecting them to just not explain at fucking all why Tails likes Sonic. Because in the fucking, all the pre-release material, all the trailers, they're basically like, you know, and at the end of the first movie, they were like, Tails is gonna find Sonic, and he's like, yeah, my Sonic, my boy. Like, they want to have Tails and Sonic have the relationship they have in the games, right? And it seemed like they were just gonna cheat and have a shortcut and not explain it at all. But, and I was also like, it doesn't make any sense why why Tails would admire this version of Sonic. Because this version of Sonic didn't do anything. And, like, how would he hear about... So, like, in my head, I'm like, how the fuck does Tails know who Sonic is? How the fuck is Tails... Like, what stories is Tails gonna hear about, Sonic the hero, the cool guy? Because he didn't fucking do anything. And they did explain it. And I was like, okay, whatever. Basically, they said, like, Tails watched the first Sonic movie. That's basically what happened, is Tails watched the first Sonic movie. And I'm like, okay, fine. Whatever. Like, again, there's so many parts of this movie that, like, the first Sonic movie is like an albatross around their fucking neck, and you just gotta deal with it. The first movie actively drags this movie down, because I was like, in the first movie, one of the worst things about that fucking movie is Sonic can just freeze fucking time at will. Like, he does it twice in the bar. He does it once in the bar, where Sonic can just slow down time. Like, he moves so fast that everything looks like it's frozen, right? He freezes time, he moves so fast that everything looks like it's standing still around him, right? And he just fucks around doing that, and then he does it again at the end of the movie against Jim Carrey. And Jim Carrey shoots a bunch of bullets and missiles at him, and then he freezes time. He goes so fast that everything looks like it's frozen, to the point that the bullets and missiles are like Neo frozen in place, like right here, and they're just sitting there. But still, somehow, Jim Carrey is like... Jim Carrey can move his finger faster than a speeding bullet, apparently. Fuck me, that movie sucked. So I was like, they are probably going to not have him do that at any point in this movie. They are going to be like, oops, never mind. We wrote a main character as having the ability to freeze fucking time at will with no cost, no buildup, and no drawback. Oops! Tension? What's that? We don't got tension in this movie no mo, because we accidentally gave our main character fucking cheat codes. So I was like, they're probably just gonna pretend, they're probably just gonna ignore that. They're probably just gonna, never mind. He can't do that anymore. Or he never could. Shut up. It didn't happen. And I was right, they didn't have him slow down time at any point in the movie. Like, there was one moment where he's, like, during the snowboarding sequence where he kind of does it, but not really. It's like a callback to that, but it's not really the same thing. It's kind of like a borderline, but I was like, oh, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way they're gonna have the character be able to just freeze fucking time at will. That is too fucking overpowered. They're gonna jettison that so quick. And they did, and they were right to do it. Let's see. Tails is the best part of the movie. Right, he basically watched the first Sonic movie, is how they explain it. And, like, okay, whatever. Like, I still would argue, like, Sonic didn't really do anything in that first movie. Like, if you really think about it, start the first Sonic movie at the scene where he is sad he can't get a high five and he runs around the baseball diamond and causes the EMP blast. Like, start the movie there and watch every scene with Sonic in it from that point in the movie. He doesn't do anything. He runs away from some robots. He gets trank gunned. He hides from some robots. They run away from some robots. They drive in a car. They stop at a bar. He beats up a bunch of people in a bar. He does a fart joke. Oh, this movie had a fart joke, by the way. It had one fart joke. Kind of two. I'll give it to them and say it was one. Masterpiece cinema. There was a fart joke, and then they were driving in a car, and then they blew up a car, and then he got blown up by a bomb because he didn't know how to take his glove off, and also he forgot that he could spontaneously freeze time at will. And then they were on the roof, and he blew up some robots on the roof, and then he got chased around by Jim Carrey through the city, in the city of San Francisco, and they didn't play Escape from the City. Fuck me, I hated that movie. And then, they have him end up back in Green Hills, and he got shot, and then the Hugh man says, that kid is a cool guy. And then Sonic goes Super Saiyan, and then he punches Jim Carrey through a portal to Mushroom Land. And that's it. I don't know, that's not really that impressive. In the games, it's implied Sonic has been running around actively doing shit for a long time. And even if you pretend that the first Sonic game is the only thing, he's still, like, saved a shitload of small woodland critters and beat up a guy who was trying to... He beat up a Teddy Roosevelt who was trying to, like, industrial revolution, industrial imperialism an island, you know? Like, it makes sense why Tails would admire Sonic in the games. It doesn't really make sense why Tails would be like, oh, you're the cool hero guy in the movie based on that first movie. I was like, okay, they explained it. Whatever. I was really just dreading them not explaining it at all. So the movie starts with Jim Carrey on Mushroom. Like, the movie fucking starts on Jim Carrey. It's just like, we know. Just fuck it. We're starting with Jim Carrey. And it's like, he's Jim Carrey. And he is. And he kept being Jim Carrey that whole movie. And he just didn't stop. And then like, it goes from Jim Carrey getting off of... And they actually do kind of set it up so that it makes sense, right? Because the way Jim Carrey gets off of Mushroom Hill Zone is he, like, sends out an EMP burst of sonic energy, and that attracts Knuckles, who's hunting for Sonic, to find him. And then Tails later explains that Tails was able to find Sonic when he did the giant EMP blast in the first movie. So it's like, okay, it twice is a pattern. Like, okay, that's fine. I can accept this. Planting and payoff, everybody. Chekhov's gun. If you show the gun on the mantle in chapter 1, the gun must go off in chapter 3. I don't know. I, like, switched between 3 different accents. It's like, okay. Like, there's so many things where it's just like, okay. Like, par. Like, you know, in golf, where it's like, par for the course is, like, it means the number of strokes that, okay, this is average, right? The par for this hole is 3 strokes. You get it in the hole in 3 strokes, that is par. There's so many things where this movie is just like, okay, solid 5. You did it. It's not a 1, it's not a 10, it's a 5. You did the basic movie thing that a movie has to do to be a movie. And then, okay, so it starts on Jim Carrey, and then it goes to Sonic, and it establishes, like, what is Sonic... Like, if this were a musical, it would be the I Want song for Sonic, right? Let's do what everyone should do and think about this in terms of a musical. So it establishes, like, what does Sonic want in this movie? He wants to be the hero guy. I want to be the hero guy. In the first movie, it was getting a fucking high five. In this movie, it's he wants to be the hero guy. Okay. I don't like this version of Sonic. And it just felt like factory. You know, a factory fucking line. Oh, put the head in, screw it on, put it on. Head, screw it on, put it on. Head, screw it on, put it on. Right? It just felt like, okay, we gotta have the moment where the movie establishes that Sonic wants to be the hero guy. And I think I watched a video once where it's like, this is like the most boring fucking motivation that a main character could ever possibly have. Right? Like, the main character needs to have a motivation. What's his I Want song? Right? Ariel. Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Is her I Want song. What does she want? She wants to transition. Aladdin, you know, his I Want song is, I forget. It's not, one step ahead of the bread line, one move ahead of the pack. Like, he has one later where it's more of an I Want song, where he's like, I want to not have to, like, struggle and scrape by, right? Belle, I want adventure in the great wide somewhere. I want it more than I can tell, right? That girl, amen. Do, 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 do. Oh no, I'm thinking about Disney songs now. So Sonic's I Want song is not, a real character motivation. It's just boring, generic, I want to be the hero guy motivation, right? And, like, they make it kind of, like, it's a boring, generic, I want to be the hero guy motivation, but it's tinted Sonic. It's flavored Sonic. It's a Sonic flavored motivation. Where he's saying, I want to be the hero guy. In a way that's passingly reminiscent of Sonic. Because he wants to be the hero guy, but he's, like, really selfish about it. And it's implied that he just, is bored and wants something to do. So, like, he wants to be the hero guy just because, like, he's got cabin fever, more or less. Even though it doesn't really jive with the characterization they established in the first movie. There's a lot of this movie that just straight up jettisons the fucking first movie, which they should do. I'm proud of them for that. I did start coming around at the scene where he, like, uses the secret zone rings, like the teleporter rings, to just give his parents, like, an instant ticket to Hawaii. Like, I was like, okay. Like, stuff like that is how you can make this version of Sonic work, right? Where Sonic is pretending to be a TSA agent at the airport, and he's got, like, a little pillow fort set up that's like a security scanner, and he's like, boop, boop, whoa, now boarding, group 1, group 2. That's cute. That's Sonic. That's a child baby version of Sonic that's not being cool, dude. Yeah, let's do it to it. But it's not cringe. This is a good, like, baby boy version of Sonic. The way they tend to do it in the movie is have him be cringe. Where he's like, oh, did you just get that from Oprah? Oh, it's the Winter Soldier. That's the shit where it's like, fucking put a gun in my mouth. But stuff like that where he's pretending to be a TSA agent, and then the instant his fucking parents are gone, he's like, yeah, I'm using the hair gel to give myself a mohawk, and I'm gonna make a bubble bath in the living room. Like, stuff like that. Yeah, okay. I'm good, yeah. Sonic. It's not game Sonic, but it doesn't have to be game Sonic. It can be its own thing. I'm fine with that. But that's not what he is most of the time in the movie. But then, your boy arrives. And he arrives and he saves this fucking movie by being Tails. And it just made me happy to see Tails. And it's clean. And she's clean. And then, like, after Tails shows up, the movie fucking flips. And I'm like, oh my god. What? Because, like... Oh, and this is the moment where I was like, oh man. Why does Jim Carrey learn Sonic's... Why does he know his name? Jim Carrey never learned what Sonic's name was in the first movie. Why does he know his name? He shows up at Sonic's house with Idris Elba Knuckles. Idris Elba's fucking great in this movie, by the way. It's hilarious. And he's like, Sonic beat Knuckles. And I was like, how'd you know? How'd you learn his name? When'd you learn his name? When'd you learn his name, though? But when? But when did you learn his name, though? Anyway. But when'd you learn it? And then Knuckles is like, you or a fucker, Sonic. And Sonic's like, I don't know what your deal is, dude. And Knuckles is like, you're the apprentice of Longclaw. And Sonic's like, how do you know that name? Why did you say that name? And then Knuckles starts dropping the lore. And I was like, oh my god, they're dropping lore. And I don't know, man. You got me with the lore. You got me with the fucking lore. All of the lore in this movie, I was a little bit like, oh, they got lore? They got lore in this movie with the owls versus the echidnas, and I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. Because that kind of fits. That's kind of like a thing in the games a little bit. A little bit, though. But it was good. There were owls in South Island. There were owls on South Island. The Babylon Rogues were birds. The echidnas in Angel Island. The owls in South Island. It's a thing. They didn't just make it up. That's a thing from the games. A little bit. A little bit, though. So I was like, oh, they got lore. Oh, fuck. And then Crazy Taxi, beep, beep. But Tails introduced himself by running Knuckles the fuck over with a car. I'm like, it's Tails. He's driving a car. And I don't think he mentioned his name was Miles at any point. Put that on the list. Didn't mention his name was Miles. Put that on the list, though. You gotta have that. He just says, like, everyone calls me Tails. Or, like, they call me Tails or something like that. Where he's like, that's the nickname. It's like a mean-spirited nickname. But he's decided to embrace it. And there's a funny line where Tails is like, do you trust me? And Sonic's like, no, I literally just met you. And that's fine, too. Because that's funny. It's not just a fucking cringe reference. It alleviates the tension. And that's like apprope. That's apprope, dude. Just like, I feel like I'm fucking dying of thirst in the desert, going like, aw, drops of water. A sincere moment of comedy from Sonic that isn't cringe reference humor. And Idris Elba is like really good in this movie. Like, this is a good way to do Knuckles. Because they have trouble doing Knuckles sometimes. I liked how they did Knuckles in the movie where Knuckles was in the movie. Because they kind of have him be like a dumb caveman. But like not in like a dumb way. You know what it is? It's Drax. He's Drax the Destroyer in Guardians of the Galaxy. Watch Guardians of the Galaxy. James Gunn, my man. He's Drax. Watch Guardians of the Galaxy, Drax the Destroyer. That's Knuckles in this movie. He's not dumb. He's like the guy who's funny because he's so serious. You know? And having him standing next to Jim Carrey, being Jim Carrey, is really funny. And then he has a lot of good the chemistry between Sonic and Knuckles is really good. Because he's like, stop fucking quipping. He's like, stop fucking quipping. It's so annoying. And when he's not just being cringe reference humor, it is good chemistry to have Sonic be like, and have Knuckles be like, I'm fucking gonna kill you so bad. You like don't even know. You don't even know how much I'm gonna kill you. Idris Elba talked about, like, in interviews, how he really threw himself into this role. Like, he really took it seriously. And it shows. I think he really did a good job. I genuinely, again, Sonic is the worst part of this movie. Because Idris Elba really did a good job as Knuckles in this movie. It's really weird. Like, you got my boy, my inspiration, the light of my fucking life, the reason that I am the man that I am. The reason that I am the man that I am. Yeah, I said that right. And that's not an exaggeration. Colleen is standing there with her hair, and it's just great. Every fucking scene with Tails just makes me go like, it's Tails. And then Idris Elba fucking killed it. Like, what a good job. Good for you, my dude. God damn, you were Idris Elba. As Knuckles, like, he really did a good job. I really respect his performance a lot in this movie. He did a really good job. Like, there was pathos. Like, damn. And then Jim Carrey is... It's the Jim Carrey dance. That's what Jim Carrey does. And he's being Jim Carrey. He's not being Eggman, but it's fine because he is Jim Carrey. And then you got fucking Sonic being like, oh, the Winter Soldier. And it's like, fuck off. So that's what I mean when I say Sonic's the worst part of this movie. Because you got fucking Tails. I don't know if I've made it clear yet that that's important to me. That you got Tails. And then you got Idris Elba being Knuckles. And then you got Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey. Like, that's how I would rank it. I would rank it as, it's fucking Tails. And then it's Idris Elba being Knuckles. And then it's Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey. And then it's cringe-ass Sonic. Cringe-ass motherfucking meme boy Sonic. And that's why he's the worst part of the movie. Because this isn't Sonic. It's cringe-ass meme boy Sonic. And I would prefer Sonic. I would prefer to have Sonic in my Sonic movie. And again, you brush off the surface. And there is something there. There is a version of Sonic here that can stand alone as its own version of Sonic. Really, it's that moment where he's like being the TSA agent in his living room. That, I think, is the glimmering pearl. That's like, this is what this version of Sonic could be. When he's not being cringe-ass Fortnite dances, right? And then, oh yeah, there's just gay bullshit. The fucking Mean Bean, oh man. Dude, I clapped when I saw it. Like, look, okay, I fucking clapped when I saw it. I'm not made of stone. There was fan service in this movie, and I'm a fan, and boy was I serviced. They serviced me as a fan. I'm a fan, and they serviced me. The Mean fucking Bean. Oh, you got me with the Mean Bean. But no, like, they go into the Mean Bean, and it's Stone just being the gayest motherfucker that has ever existed for Jim Carrey. Like, just so gay. Live slug reaction on every scene with Stone in it, because holy fuck is he gay for Jim Carrey in this movie. And I don't feel good about that. I don't feel bad about that. It's just there, and I have to say that it was there in the movie. He was fucking gay. And then they're like in Russia, which I kind of expected them to redub that and like have it not be Russia because of the Troubles. But no, they kept it Russia. I guess they kind of had to. I did think it was kind of dumb how Tails is like, I invented this translator that can translate into Siberian. And it's like, you're like an alien, right? Like, you're from another dimension? Like, that's what they're saying. That's how it works in this movie, is they're aliens. Like, they're from different planets. Like, physical, actual planets. You're like an alien. Why do you Siberian translator? Okay, whatever. I accept it when Star Trek does it, I guess. I need some fucking water. Ugh. So they're in Siberia, and it's dumb. Honestly, they could have cut a lot of what that scene was. Like, you could say it had some utility, where it showed them, like, developing their relationship as bros, but, like, man, did that scene eat up a lot of screen time that it didn't need to. Man, was there a deleted scene in this movie that didn't need to be deleted because they could have just cut that fucking dance sequence. But it's also the scene where Tails explains, like, why he knows who the fuck Sonic is. Where he basically says, like, he watched the first Sonic movie, and, oh, he was bullied in his home village because of his Tails, which is accurate to the games. And he says, like, but then I saw you, Sonic, and you're a freak like me, and you used your freakishness to, like, be a hero guy, which he didn't really, but whatever. I don't really see how he did anything. Oh, he says, like, you saved your village. And it's like, not really. That's one of the biggest problems with the first movie is Jim Carrey isn't really a bad guy. He doesn't really do anything bad in that movie, you know? Like, he didn't do anything wrong. Like, he just wanted to capture Sonic. But, like, Sonic caused a massive EMP burst that caused a power outage on the entire North Pacific. Or whatever. Some people definitely died because of that. I feel like it's okay that the government dispatched an asset to, like, get Sonic. And that's all he does in that movie, is he wants to get Sonic. He didn't really have a kick the puppy moment. And at the end, where he's like, yeah, fuck you, I'm killing you, Sonic, and Hugh Man has his Sonic's a cool guy speech. Like, Tails is framing that as, oh, you saved your village. But that's not really what happened. He saved himself, and also he was in Green Hills at the time that it happened, you know? Whatever. The first movie beat me down, man. That's really what it is. That first movie beat me the fuck down. But during that scene where Tails is like, I was a bullied boy, Tails the bullied boy. But then I saw you, Sonic, and I saw you're a freak too. You're weird also. You're also a weird guy. So I felt like I didn't have to be ashamed of myself anymore. Maybe I could be a cool guy like you, Sonic. And I'm like, is Tails? Is it Tails? Is it Tails? It's Tails. I'm weak. I'm a weak man, you know? It's Tails, you know? Fuck. And then they have, like, the dance scene, and the dance scene is, like, in a utilitarian screenplay sense, this dance scene accomplishes Sonic and Tails, like, becoming bros. Right? Because Sonic's like, come on, buddy, you have the ability to do things, confidence supplied. And then, you know, they work together, and it's like, yeah, we won the Russian dance contest. Yeah. But it's like, god damn, that scene goes on for a long fucking time. And I'm like, oh, and that's the thing. Rewind. There's a fucking stupid fucking scene that was real dumb, where Sonic's like, oh, I got the map, and the map had the Master Emerald on it, remember, from the first movie? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I do remember from the first movie, Sonic. And then the map has a magical hologram message from Longclaw. Ah, I was real surprised that Longclaw stayed dead in this movie, by the way. I did not see that coming. I was really assuming that Longclaw was going to turn out to not be dead. But not only was Longclaw dead, but she had a body count. I was not seeing that coming. I really thought it was going to turn out that she was alive the whole time. I was impressed by that. There's a magic fucking Jedi hologram in the map which had never been activated before. All in the 10 years that Sonic lived on Earth. He never activated the magic fucking map hologram message from Longclaw. Convenient, isn't it? That all of a sudden now in the sequel, now he activates the secret message from Longclaw. That fucking was so dumb. That fucking was so dumb. But in the magic Jedi hologram message from Longclaw, she drops the deep lore. She drops the deep fucking lore. And I was like, there's lore. And I was like, oh my god. And it's like the Master Emerald is the 7 Chaos Emeralds put together into one Super Emerald to cause fucking Sith Lord the Grinch to happen. And I was like, oh, I'm okay with that. Oh, I'm super fucking okay with that. I was not expecting the Chaos Emeralds to get brought in. I'm really kind of impressed they did that, right? Because in the fucking previews and the trailers, they're just like, oh, it's a Master Emerald. And I'm like, you're just going to introduce the Master Emerald and skip over the fucking Chaos Emeralds? But no, they kind of are the same thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm fine with that. That works. I'm not like, a diehard purist. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as how it is in the games. I'm cool with it. But man, that fucking magic fucking Jedi hologram was real fucking dumb. Oh yeah, the fucking, the magic Jedi hologram map message had Guardians of Galhool in it. It's like, we were an elite team of heroes to protect the Master Emerald, and it's just straight up the Guardians of Galhool. And I was like, it's the Guardians of Galhool. Anyway, so they go to the fucking temple with the compass, as if that's been established as a thing. There's a deleted scene somewhere in this movie that shouldn't have been deleted because they did not need that dance sequence to go on as long as it did. And then there's the scene where all the laser pointers come out and they point at Tails, and in the trailer you're like, oh fuck this movie, but then in the movie Sonic does go like, Tails, he like defends him, and I'm like, oh thank fucking god. Like, they actually did it. They actually got the Sonic and Tails relationship. And I'm fine with it. Because I was gonna hate it. I was gonna be real mad about it. I was gonna be like, you can't just have the relationship they have in the games automatically. Like... But... they do kind of make it work, because Sonic is a sad uwu boy and he wants friends, and his dad, Human, is like, oh, I want Sonic to have his squad. And they do kind of set it up that Sonic, being the sad uwu boy, is going to kind of be like, friend. And they explain, they justify. They tolerably justify Tails being like, Sonic's a cool guy, even though I really don't think Sonic did anything that warrants being considered a cool guy. They explain Sonic being a sad uwu boy and wanting friends to high five, and they establish Tails thinking Sonic's a cool guy. So like, okay, you can kind of fast forward their relationship a little bit, right? To the point where Sonic's like, get back, Tails, I'll defend you. And it's like, okay, you kind of cheated, right? This is why, man, how much, like, this movie was 2 hours long. It crammed Sonic 2 and half of Sonic 3. Let's say Sonic 3. Not Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but just Sonic 3, right? It crammed Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 into one movie. And it's like, how about you just go back and delete that first movie, which was garbage ass, and just have, you know, Sonic 2 establish the relationship between Sonic and Tails, and then Sonic 3 where Knuckles shows up. You know? Anyway. There's so much where it's like, I'm not as mad at this as I expected to be. And that's a positive thing. I expected to be way more mad about this. I thought I would be way more mad, but then I turned out to not be that mad. And that's kind of a victory when you think about it. Damned by faint praise, right? Again, it's not a 1 out of 10, it's not a 10 out of 10, it's par. You did it. You managed to achieve the bare fucking minimum. Good job. I've been so beaten down with my fucking standards of expectations that that's all you need now. Is you need to have Colleen O'Shaughnessy being fucking Tails. And then I'll just accept mediocrity, right? And you get the snowboarding sequence where Sonic goes like, oh, the Winter Soldier. And it's like, I want to die. And then you got Sonic and Knuckles having a moment where Sonic's like, where Knuckles like, you ruined my whole life. And Sonic's like, I don't even know who you are. Marvel movies. And Knuckles gives his backstory. And then he's got a sad backstory. And he's a little baby echidna boy. And he's a cute little baby echidna boy. And then we got Shota Knuckles. We got Shota Knuckles in this movie. And he's like, yeah, I'm ready to go be a warrior and kill the enemies, baby boy. And his dad's like, nah. And just like, to leave. And then I never saw him again. And it's like, yo, Longclaw's got a body count. Yo, Sonic's owl mom vored those echidnas and then died. Yo, I'm just saying. And I said it, and you can't stop me from having said it. So, like, literally, Sonic's mom and Knuckles' dad just kind of killed each other off screen. Like, Knuckles is literally like, I'm real mad that Longclaw killed my dad, so I'm gonna beat you up, Sonic. And then Sonic's like, hey, like, your dad kind of killed Longclaw, and she was my mom. So, like, I'm sad that your dad killed my mom. And Knuckles is like, oh, real shit, bro? Yeah. Like, they have a moment where it's like, ah, shit. A cycle of vengeance. You know, when you start your quest for revenge, dig 2 graves. You know, that's really, makes you think. But then Tails comes in at the moment where it would be inopportune for him to, like, intervene. And he's like, I saved you, Sonic. And Knuckles is like, oh, the guy who would have no reason to think that I'm no longer a threat came in to neutralize me as a threat, and I'm gonna blame you for it, as if you collaborated this. I know that he knows that I'm a threat, and I know that he was not nearby to hear our conversation. And yet I'm going to assume that you're responsible for this deception and betrayal. We had a moment, but you really only used that moment to betray me. And Tails is like, I'm coming in at the last second after it would be inopportune for me to save you. Because I don't know what the situation is. I'm going to assume the situation is he's still a threat and not be aware that you're having a moment and save you. And it's like, fuck Hollywood movies. I hate movies. Movies are the worst. And Sonic's like, no, it was a misunderstanding, though. Oh dear, what a misunderstanding. We were having a moment, but then my ally came in and saved me by like neutralizing the guy who was a threat, but we were having a moment. He didn't realize we were having a moment, and now the guy who was a threat but I was having a moment with thinks that I betrayed him. Oh no. What a misunderstanding! And it's like, fuck movies. Fucking hate movies. And then they get the compass. And it's like, oh, the compass. And it's like, you did not establish the compass at all. You did not establish the compass, dude. And then they get the bad guys get the compass and they blow up Tails, and now Tails is a sad, he's been all beaten up and he's a blown up boy. Blown up bully boy. And then Sonic's like, oh no, I gotta save my buddy. And then they're going down the slopes, and then they call the Human, who I've barely mentioned because boy does he not matter in this movie. And he's like, save me, Dad. And then he saves him, Dad. But then Gun shows up. And they literally say, like, the Olive Garden guy? They literally say the dialogue, the Olive Garden guy. Knuckles, what's wrong? You've barely touched your unlimited breadsticks. This isn't even a real garden. They brought it back. They brought back the Olive Garden guy. Don't let your memes be dreams. It's like so offensive that it wraps all the way back around to being kind of funny, right? So Gun in this movie is literally like S.H.I.E.L.D., right? It's just Marvel. It's just Marvel. It's just Marvel, right? Where, you know how in the Avengers, Nick Fury has that little speech where he's like, it turns out we're not alone in the universe, and we are hopelessly, hilariously outgunned. So we gotta create the fucking organization to deal with this. We gotta create the Organization 13. We gotta create XCOM to deal with the aliens. And so that's what Gun is. Gun is, oh, aliens and shit. Let's deal with that. And then make Shadow the Hedgehog at the end. And then they take Sonic and Tails captive, and then what's her name? Waika Waititi? No, that's not her name. Sonic 2 IMDb Maddie. Tika Sumpter. Tika Sumpter, the actress who plays, I called her Diversity Vagina in the first movie. She gets to be a named character now. She's Maddie now. She gets to be a named character. Because she's not just a diversity vagina in this movie. She's a real character. She's not just in the first movie, oh, we gotta have the male lead. We'll make sure to give him a vagina. So that way the audience doesn't think he's gay. That's the only function she served in that movie. Is she's there so that people don't think that Tom is gay. That's the only function she served. And then they cast a black actress. And they decided, hey, since we cast a black actress, let's put some really fucking offensive racial humor in here. And have her sister character be like, oh no, what just happened? Oh no, what just happened? Exactly what I said would happen. Oh no. And it's just like, oh, she's a diversity vagina, right? So that was my offensive joke about the character in the first movie. In this movie, she's a real character. Because Tika Sumpter went up to the directors and said, fuck you, give me something to do in this movie. The actress literally said in an interview that she went up to the directors of this movie and the writers and said, don't just make me like pregnant or like away on a trip. I want to be an active character. She literally said, give me something to do in the sequel. And so I'm so happy for her. She had something to do in this movie. Oh, fuck. Oh, it's bad. Fuck. Ooh. They gave her something to do in this movie, and I'm so happy for her. Where she gets to run around. Yeah. And it's like, good for you, actress. Good for you. Good for you, Tika. Oh, I feel so good for her. I'm so glad. And then they have, like, the funniest part of the movie is, like, the B plot, which doesn't matter, is they're going to Hawaii for Maddie's sister's wedding. And it turns out the wedding is a sting for Gunn to capture Sonic. And her her groom is also a Gunn agent, and it was a catfish. It was a catfish sting. And not a real wedding. And so she, with the only moment of licensed music that's actually funny because it's diegetic, she drives in and, like, slow motion crashes, like, the just married golf cart into the stage and, like, slams a fucking champagne bottle and is like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck you up. And the husband's like, damn, she's sexy. And it's like, this is fucking comedy. See, it's actually possible to have comedy that isn't just a fucking reference to something else. And then she fucking has a gun, and it's like, oh my god, Tails has a gun! Tails has a gun! Anyway, so, like, the stuff with Maddie and Maddie's sister, good stuff. Good job, Tika. I keep checking to make sure I'm not getting the name wrong. Tika Sumpter. Good job, Tika Sumpter. I'm happy for you. Maddie's cool. I'm cool with Maddie now. She has... Man, that first movie was bad! So then, you know, it's the second act. It's the moving from the first act to the second act where Sonic's like, you know, my I want song at the beginning of the movie was I want to be the hero guy, but then I got Tails hurt, and now I need to do it alone. And then he says I gotta go fast. And they had Sonic in the movie say, I gotta go fast. They have Sonic... They have Sonic in the Sonic movie say, gotta go fast. So, they also do a pretty good job of explaining why Sonic needs a fucking plane. And then they cut from that to Knuckles and Jim Carrey running around just straight up a level from the video game. And I clapped when I saw it. Oh, there's a lot of I clapped when I saw it in this movie. There's a lot of fan service in this movie, and I was serviced. I'm a fan. I was serviced. I clapped when I saw it. It's literally just they're running through a Sonic level. And I'm like, yeah. You went through that Sonic level. Yeah. And some good shit. And then Sonic and Knuckles fight. And it's the Marvel movie superhero fight. And they have really good chemistry when he's not calling him the Winter Soldier. I'm not going to get over how fucking stupid that was. And it's fine. It's a good fight. They fight each other, and they glow, and they have electricity superpowers, and I don't like that part. But then Knuckles picks up a rock, and it's like Sonic Battle. Sonic Battle in my movie. And then Jim Carrey's like, I'm Jim Carrey, by the way. And then he takes the Master Emerald and he says, chaos is power. And I'm like, power enriched by the heart? I clapped. I clapped when I saw it. And then the temple's getting sunk. And then Knuckles is trapped under the water, and Sonic's gotta go down there and save him in the water. And then a bubble of air comes up, and Sonic goes like, what? And he gets the air from the bubble, and it's like the video game. And I'm like, oh, it's like in the video game. And then Sonic and Knuckles are buddies. And Idris Elba is fucking so good in this movie as Knuckles. He did a really good job in this movie. I think Idris Elba did a really good job in this movie as Knuckles, you guys. And then Tails shows up and he's flying the tornado, and I'm so happy that Tails didn't just show up with the tornado. It's established where the tornado came from, and it makes sense why Tails would have the tornado. I'm not going to explain it, but it makes sense, and it's fine. And I'm like, okay. And then Jim Carrey is being Sith Lord the Grinch, and it's Jim Carrey, it's the Grinch as a Sith Lord. Think of the Grinch from Jim Carrey's The Grinch, but he's a Sith Lord, and that's what it is. And he uses his Sith Lord Grinch powers to create the Death Egg robot. And I'm like, fuck you. I knew you would do this, but god fucking damn it still pisses me off that they did it. Ugh. Gotta give Eggman the superpowers so that he can create the Death Egg robot and be the final boss. Because we can't just have normal Eggman be the final boss. We gotta have the Grinch Lord Sith Lord. Grinch Sith Lord be the final boss. And he creates the Death Egg robot using his Grinch Sith Lord power. And it's like, fuck you. But whatever. And then, you know, they do a really good job with the chemistry between Knuckles and Tails and Sonic. And you really, by like, yeah, Team Sonic, they do a good job with that. Like, pretty much everything from Gotta Go Fast to the end of the movie, Sonic is not cringe. And I'm happy that he wasn't cringe in this movie. It's really nice when you have Sonic and he's not being cringe, right? And then you get the you get the Avengers Assemble shot where Sonic and Knuckles and Tails are all together. We're like, yeah, let's beat up these Eggman robots. And Tails just fucking has a gun. He just fucking has a gun. And it's like, this is fun. I'm watching a movie. I'm watching a movie where Sonic and Knuckles and Tails are fighting together and beating up the Eggman robots together. And I was having fun watching the movie. And you know, it's a Marvel movie fucking final boss. It's your Hollywood movie final boss action sequence. And then like, oh no, you got it. All of a sudden, Sonic is tired, and then oh no, he fell down and he's real hurt, and now he's limping, and he's like, oh no, and it's like, oh, the darkest moment. Whatever. It annoyed me, but like whatever. It's a movie, and you gotta have the darkest moment where. Where he's like, I've been weakened. I've been weakened in this moment. It's just so generic and stupid. But they teach them in their Cal Arts Hollywood Screenwriting 101 class that you gotta have that at the end. You know? You gotta have the big action, like, third act climax where the hero's like, the fucking Rise of Skywalker, right? Where they're like, I'm sorry, guys, I failed you. But then, the Babu Frick shows up and like saves the day. It's like, yeah, we got reinforcements from Babu Frick over here, right? That's what I mean. It's Rise of Skywalker, the darkest moment, right? But then he does the thing. I wasn't expecting them to do it because I didn't think the Chaos Emeralds would be in the movies. I didn't think that they would have the Chaos Emeralds in the movies. But then the Chaos Emeralds were in the movies, and he motherfucking goes supersonic, and then and I think, okay, full disclosure, there's an after credits scene in this movie, and the cam rip that I downloaded did not include this. So I have not seen, just pretend I walked out of the theater, I didn't see the after credits scene. I'm pretty sure it's just Shadow the Hedgehog, though. But full disclosure, I did not see the after credits scene. Maybe I'll just spoil it for myself. Sonic 2 after credits scene. I'm just going to spoil it for myself. Because, yeah, okay. Okay, they do address it in the post-credits scene where I think Sonic straight up kills Jim Carrey. Like, he straight up kills Jim Carrey. Like, the window is left open, but when I was watching the movie, I was like, is he just dead? Like, did he just kill Jim Carrey? And I think the post-credits scene, apparently, I just looked it up right now, is like, maybe he's dead, maybe he's not. Maybe Jim Carrey's not dead. So they leave the window open, but, like, it seems like he just straight up fucking killed him. Like, come on. And then we got this great moment where, like, Supersonic just killed Jim Carrey. And then Knuckles is like, he's literally a fucking god now. So, like, hold up. Power corrupts, absolutely. But then Sonic uses his godlike supersonic powers to just summon a fucking chili dog. And it's, like, the most immaculate, divine-looking chili dog that could ever exist. And he's like, yeah, fucking chili dog, baby. And it's like, yeah, it's a Sonic movie. And then there's the denouement, where Knuckles puts the Master Emerald back together, and it's like, oh, it's like the thing where Knuckles does that in the game. I don't know if the Chaos Emeralds are still in it. I think that those might have been two different things now. They kind of implied that, like, Sonic turns off Supersonic and the Chaos Emeralds go up into the air. And then Knuckles picks up the shattered pieces of the Master Emerald and just kind of puts the Master Emerald back together. And I'm pretty sure those are two different things now. I'm pretty sure the Master Emerald and the Chaos Emerald are now two different things in the movie. The movie-averse. So, like, keep a watch out. Keep a watch out for that one. And then they have, the denouement, where, like, they're buddies now. Idris Elba's great. Idris Elba is fucking great as Knuckles. Tails is Tails. It's not even Colleen O'Shaughnessy. Colleen is just Tails. She's so good. She is so good. And then Sonic is, the worst part of this movie because he's cringe-ass Sonic, but it's still fine. Oh, that reminds me. They had a moment where Sonic is, like, chilling on the couch, and he's like, we're not watching Cool Runnings or, like, Sled Dogs. And he's like, because that movie is the worst. And I was like, Ben motherfucking Schwartz. Ben motherfucking Schwartz. So, you had Ben Schwartz, and he got to be Ben Schwartz. And I'm like, good for you, Ben Schwartz. You be Ben Schwartz, Ben Schwartz. The worst. That's a good job, Ben Schwartz. You got to be Ben Schwartz in the Ben Schwartz movie. So yeah, that movie ended, and my takeaway is it was a good movie. I was expecting it to be a good movie. I should make that clear, because that first movie sucked, and I hated it. I was expecting this movie to be good, but I was expecting to hate it. And I'm sorry to report, I did not hate it. I, in fact, liked it. There were things in it that I didn't like. There were a lot of things that I didn't like. And there were a lot of things that I didn't like about it. There were things I didn't like that were in the movie, and there were things that I didn't like about the movie. But overall, it was a good movie, and I liked it. A solid 7, maybe even an 8 out of 10. Like, I would have given... Like, my problem with the first movie is it's fucking boring. It does not improve upon the experience of staring at an empty wall for the same amount of time. Like, as a Sonic movie, it fucking infuriated me. But as just Peekaboo the movie, it was boring. It was just boring. This movie, there are a lot of things that, like... Right? Like, from the perspective of it being a Sonic movie, right? There were still those things where I'm like, But there were a lot of things that made me happy as a Sonic fan. Like, the fucking lore with the owls versus the echidnas, and the way they incorporated the Master Emerald and the Chaos Emerald, and the fan service, I clapped when I saw it. Like, and the tails... And the tails, and the tails, and the Knuckle, and Idris Elba as Knuckles, and the tails. And these are all things that, you know, spark joy. Cringe Sonic does not spark joy. And Jim Carrey, you know, he sparks joy, but not as a Sonic fan, right? Put those two things in separate camps. Robotnik in this movie does not spark joy. Jim Carrey sparks joy. Robotnik in this movie does not spark joy. Sonic does not spark joy. Hollywood Screenwriting 101 does not spark joy. Oh, we got a screenwriters and they went to their Hollywood Screenwriting 101 class. And that does not spark joy. The licensed music sparks active hatred and anger, but it was a movie, and you can put your child in front of this movie, and they'll watch the movie, and they'll be like, that was a movie. That first movie was not a movie. That first movie was fucking boring. And it pissed me off. This new movie is not boring. It's entertaining. It's a movie. You put it on, and you watch it, and you're like, that was a movie. And it had the lore with the owls and the echidnas. It had the tails, and it had the Knuckles, the Idris Elba as Knuckles, and it had Jim Carrey. And I guess at the end of the day, you kind of broke even. And my standards were so fucking low that that's enough to make me happy. My standards were so fucking low that you broke even, and that was enough to make me happy. At the end of the day, I got more out of this movie than it took from me. And I can't say that about the first movie. But the second movie, good job, you made a movie. Right? Again, it's like The Purge. Just skip the first one. Like, that first one only got made to please, like, Hollywood producer shareholders, right? As a piece of art, as a piece of media to consume, why even fucking bother? But this second one is a movie, and you watch it and you're like, this is a movie, and Sonic, cringe-ass Sonic, I'll say, he's not Peekaboo. He's cringe-ass Sonic, but he's Sonic. It's cringe, and you don't want your Sonic to be cringe. But it's Sonic. That's fine. It's a cringe-ass Sonic. It's a Sonic. You get your cringe-ass Sonic. And your Tails, and your Idris Elba as Knuckles. And then, Shadow's gonna be in the next one.
I'm here for that. And they made a movie, and I liked the movie, and it was a good movie, and boy was I not expecting that. I was expecting to fucking hate this movie, but they made a good movie in the end. I made a good movie, and I liked it, and I guess that's where we're at as a nation, as a country. That's where we're at. Is they made a movie, and I liked the movie. I almost got my fucking internet shut off downloading this movie, so I hope you're happy.
I just got back from seeing Sonic 2 in the theaters this time. So actually getting to see it on a real screen instead of just an HD cam rip, I got to notice a lot more things that were good about it. Like, actually, and I will first say, movie theaters are awful. We don't need those anymore. I hate going to movie theaters. It's the worst. People don't shut the fuck up. Someone brought a baby. I don't know how the baby is benefiting from this. I guess they just didn't want to hire a sitter. Movie theaters are the worst. I don't know why they can't just release movies directly on video on demand. It's so dumb. I hate movie theaters so much. But anyway, actually getting to see it on screen, the visual effects were really good in this movie. Like, the first movie, the visual effects were fucking awful. Like, it looked like a YouTube animation of someone just drawing the animated character over the top of an existing movie scene. You could see just the ping pong that they used for, like, a visual reference. It was atrociously bad in the first movie. In this movie, it looks really good. Like, I don't like the art style that they're using for the Sonic characters, where they have, like, every individual hair, and some hairs are, like, thicker than others. It looks weird. I don't like that. Like, the characters are drawn with this smoothness for reasons, because it looks good. But, like, that aside, like, the decisions made there aside, the visual effects were really fucking good. Like, there's a lot of, like, wet Sonic getting doused in water in this movie, and it looks really good. There's a scene at the beginning of the movie where he falls over the boat into the water, and then when he gets back on, like, it's his fur's wet, and it looks really good, and then, like, it dries progressively over the next couple minutes of the scene. There's, like, some back angle shots where you could see water, like, just dripping consistently from his quills. It looks really good. There's a lot of, like, snow, Sonic and Tails getting covered in snow, Sonic and Knuckles getting covered in sand. It all looks really good. And I think it's because they used a lot of practical models when filming it on set. Like, I know in the behind the scenes they had, like, statues, they had, like, a Sonic in a ball, like, a practical prop to work with when filming, and I think that's the reason the visual effects look so good, is because they have that practical model to base it around. Because there's scenes where Sonic is, like, interacting with human characters, and he looks like he's right there with them. It looks really good. So that's a good visual detail you can't really get from just watching the camera version, so good job. They actually did good visual effects this time, as compared to the last time, which they didn't. I also, like, thought about it more, and again, like, aside from the cringe reference humor, which is just awful, I could make, like, a top 5 list of, like, the worst pop culture references Sonic makes. They're all so bad. Like, the number 1 is definitely calling Longclaw Obi-Wan Kenobi. That literally doesn't make sense. And, like, I've forgotten, like, oh, the owls and the echidnas have been fighting for centuries, like Vin Diesel and The Rock. Is that Fast and the Furious? Why? Fuck you. Enough with the fucking cringe reference humor. Just cut that out of the movie. And if you ignore that part, if you ignore that, I don't know where that came from. Is that from the writers, or is that from Ben Schwartz? Because whoever's responsible from that needs to get fired. And if it's Ben Schwartz, I'm sorry, but you gotta go. If that's you ad-libbing in the booth, you need to stop that. you need to be replaced by Roger Craig Smith. Because, like, someone is responsible for the fucking cringe reference humor, and it's bad, and it needs to stop. Aside from that, though, I do like this version of Sonic. He's not game Sonic. He's different from game Sonic. But, like, that's fine. I'm okay with it, because there's a scene where, like, Sonic is talking with Knuckles on the beach, and Knuckles is like, why did you help me? And game Sonic would be like, no reason, right? Like, he doesn't need a reason. He just does what he wants to do because he wants to do it, right? He does what he thinks is the right thing to do. That's his fucking theme song. I'm just living by my own feeling. I don't know why I can't say it. Oh, it might be tough. Because I'm just living. I'm just out of control, just living by my word. Don't ask me why. I don't need a reason. I got my way, my own way. Yeah, but in the movie, Sonic's like, because that's what heroes do. And I want to be the hero guy. And, like, I want to be the hero guy is a fucking really boring, generic, bad Hollywood writing kind of motivation for a main character to have. But it's fine. Like, for this version of Sonic, it does make sense, and it's fine. Because he likes superhero comic books, like, he has all these Flash comic books, and I think that's a really cute detail that the superhero he is, like, attracted to is the Flash. His dad's a sheriff. I mean, like, I'm gonna do a video that's, like, ways that, like, Sonic 1 is such a bad movie that it actively makes Sonic 2 worse. Like, it drags it down, and one of those reasons is Tom Wachowski is just a bad fucking person. When you ignore, like, what the script tells you you're supposed to think about him and just look at his actions, he's a bad person. But the script is like, oh, Tom Wachowski, he's the local sheriff, community leader kind of guy. So, like, well, Sonic's dad figure is like the town sheriff, white hat kind of dude, and he wants to emulate that. So it makes sense why this version of Sonic would be like, I want to be the hero guy, and it's a part, and, like, it's used in a way to, like, emphasize his immaturity too, because at the beginning of the movie, Tom's like, you destroyed a city block, and Sonic's like, that block was already busted up anyway, who cares? And that strikes me as very Sonic. Like, whatever, collateral damage, who cares? The point is, I got to have fun doing something and pretending to be a hero. And there was and I really liked his chemistry with Tails. Again, I think the fact that this Sonic was a sad uwu boy lets them cheat and skip a little bit. They really fast-forwarded Sonic and Tails' relationship. But given that, I do like their relationship. I do think that they had a nice little chemistry together. And his chemistry with Knuckles also. Like, again, it struck me as very Sonic. There's this moment where Knuckles is like, I've been training this moment my whole life. And Sonic's like, and I haven't had any training at all. And yet, here I am ahead of you. Like, that struck me as very Sonic. A very Sonic thing to say. And then, shortly after that, where Knuckles is like, oh, and I got to see this time, in the flashback with Show to Knuckles, he had the little white rings painted on his fucking dreads. And it's like, yo! That was great. I loved seeing that. Knuckles got to have the white rings on his dreads. I love it. Where he's explaining his backstory, like, my dad died fighting Longclaw. And instead of, like, a kind of cliche, generic response of, like, oh, your dad killed my mom, vengeance, you know. Instead, Sonic is able to, like, have that empathy and that emotional intelligence to be like, we both lost things that day. Like, I understand your pain. I share that pain with you. Like, he's not gonna hold a grudge and be like, oh, you are like, your dad killed my mom. He's like, no, yeah, I get it. You have the same pain that I had, and he doesn't hold on to that grudge. That is like the essence of what's important about Sonic as a character is present in this version of the character. In this movie. Not the first one, but in this movie, it's a version of Sonic that's immature and more immature. More immature. And you know what? I think it leans into that, like, Peter Pan syndrome, I think. Because one of the things about Sonic that I've thought about is, like, he's got that Peter Pan syndrome going for him. And it's even more so in this. In this version of him where he's really young and, like, has that, like, selfishness to him. Oh no. What's it all about? Yeah? And I gotta keep giving it up. My girl, Colleen, fucking killed it. Tells the best part of this movie, and I like something that we really actually didn't get to see in the games is Tails talking about how he was bullied for having two tails. Like, that's really never come up in the games. Like, we know about it, but it's never been, like, explained. It's never been, like, talked about. It's just kind of been left as that kind of background detail. The scene where he talks about everyone made that dance-off scene is way too fucking long. But there's the part where they're all, like, calling him freak, 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 and there's that, you've got, like, a close-up of him going, like, oh no, like, PTSD flashbacks to everyone in his village calling him a freak. And then Sonic's like, oh yeah, they're calling us freaks? Let's get freaky, and, like, do a dance-off, right? And they're playing fast forward on Sonic and Tails' relationship in this movie, but, oh my goodness. What the fuck are you doing? So yeah, I think that was good to get to see on screen. Because we've never really seen that in the games. We have the flashback in Sonic Adventure where he's like, wow, that dream brings back memories. I owe so much to Sonic. But, like, we never really saw on screen the moment they, like, met and formed that connection. And I think it is something that we get to see a little, like, you can imagine, there are some things in this where I'm like, I could imagine this happening in the universe of the game. And it working, right? And Tails having that conversation with him, like, people called me a freak. People thought I was weird because of my two tails. But then I saw you, and you were weird too. You inspired me. You were a legend, which, again, that's one of those reasons that, like, the first movie makes this second movie worse. Because it's like, what has he done that's legendary? Went on a road trip, escaped from the city. If you go into Sonic 2 not having watched Sonic 1, it will actively improve the viewing experience of this movie for you. I'm telling you. It's like when I watched the original trilogy of Star Wars, I just put the prequels out of my mind and pretend that those don't exist. That's what you gotta do with this movie. Just put the first Sonic movie out of your mind and pretend it doesn't exist. Because remembering that it exists is gonna create plot holes. Like, why did Longclaw imply, like, why was Sonic under the impression that, like, oh no, if I'm discovered, I gotta go to Mushroom Hill Zone, when apparently Longclaw sent him to Earth specifically to safeguard the Master Emerald? Like, the first movie is so bad that it creates plot holes. Anyway. Yeah, that, I think the depiction of Sonic and Tails meeting and becoming friends, again, it's cheated, it's fast-forwarded. This is the problem where they crunched Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 down into one movie. They just gotta speed bump through the whole thing. Really should have jettisoned that first movie and just made the first movie Sonic and Tails meeting and becoming friends, and then movie 2 could have been Knuckles coming in. But anyway, it was rushed, but I do feel that chemistry that Sonic and Tails have, the unbreakable bond. Colleen is pulling a lot of that weight because she's bringing her 10 years of experience voicing this character into her role, and you feel how she understands this character in the performance and in seeing that relationship being created between them. Ben Schwartz is not good as Sonic. I'm sorry. Again, I don't know if it's him or the writing, but is like that. Whatever. He's just it's whatever. And speaking of, Idris Elba really does a good job as Knuckles. He brings it out. He said in like previews or in like interviews, like, I wanted to create the definitive version of this character, and I think he did it. I think this is a really good version of Knuckles. I think he understood a lot about what would make this character appealing and really brought it out in his performance. And to a degree, it's also that like the games have really neglected Knuckles in a lot of ways, but I think the movie does a better job of explaining why Knuckles is sticking around and being part of Team Sonic. Because in the games, like, you have that weird question of like, why is Knuckles not back on Angel Island protecting the Master Emerald? Why is he always running around with Sonic and Tails now? That's never been explained. And you can invent a reason for why in your head, but they didn't show it on screen. So you don't get points for that. You don't get points for my imagination, right? But in the movie, they have a moment where they're like, where Knuckles says, like, we'll create a new tribe together. We will be a new tribe, and we'll protect the Master Emerald together. Like, and that's a moment of significance, because he's like, he lost his family, his tribe of echidnas, and now he's creating a new tribe, and he's saying, Sonic and Tails, you're my family now. And that's better than the way poor Knuckles has been treated in the games. You don't have that with how he's been written in the games, unfortunately. And there was another great moment where I'm like, this is again another moment where you could imagine this did happen in the game version of this, where and it's a detail that's like a planting and payoff thing too. There's a lot of planting and payoff in this movie where Robotnik introduces Knuckles and he says, my BFFAE, my best friend forever and ever. And then later, when Robotnik betrays Knuckles, Knuckles is like, bro, what up? I thought you were my friend. And it's like that, I really like that moment of Knuckles being like, dude, I thought we were friends. Like, literally saying the word, I thought you were my friend, to Robotnik. I can imagine that happening in the game, where Eggman's like coming in and taking the Master Emerald, and Knuckles jumps on and is like, dude, what are you doing? I thought you were my friend. And Eggman's like, hey, mustache, and then sends the like electricity down to volt him. And then that's when Knuckles realizes, like, you betrayal, deception, and then like helps Sonic and Tails get the problem solved. Also, another plot hole created by the first movie, when he goes into the Mean Bean and, like, activates the hidden lab, the Eggman Empire symbol comes up, like the symbol of the Eggman Empire from the games, including the crazy mustache. Why would movie Robotnik have the crazy mustache as part of his symbol when he just grew the crazy mustache on Mushroom Hill in between movies? That first movie sucked. I hated it. So yeah, like, stands up. The things that annoy me about it annoy me, but overall, good movie, good, and I liked it. I hope they get rid of some of these fucking ancillary characters in the third one. You don't need fucking Wade. Maddie's cool. I like Maddie. But I also don't understand why Sonic needs human parents. I don't get that. He doesn't need Chris Thorndike. He doesn't need Tom and Maddie. Like, these characters are completely fucking irrelevant. I don't understand why they're around. I mean, I guess I do. It's because hack, shitty Hollywood fucking film writing. But, like, really, you can just get rid of them at this point. They're so unnecessary. But if you're gonna pretend that Tom and Maddie are essential and cannot... Oh, the found family, you guys! The found family! As if fucking Tails isn't Sonic's fucking brother. And Knuckles is like, we're forming the tribe. As if Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles aren't already a found family. You gotta have these shitty, unnecessary human characters in there as well. Whatever. At the minimum, I hope they drop Wade. He's not funny. It's not funny. Get rid of him. Oh, and I managed to see the after credit scene this time. Yeah, they're clearly leaving the door open for Jim Carrey to come back if he wants to. They've said in interviews, like, we're not going to recast him if he decides to step away. They'll probably have something where, like, Stone will try to replace him. He's so fucking gay in this. It's so gay, by the way. But, like, if they need someone to fill the role of Robotnik, Stone will probably fill it if Jim Carrey decides to not come back. But the door is left open for him to come back if he wants to. And they straight up show Shadow. I was not expecting them to just straight up show Shadow at the end. Like, I looked up that they referred to Project Shadow, but they straight up have the capsule come up and close up on Shadow, and he looks like he's wearing eyeliner. They'll probably tweak that design a little bit. I wasn't expecting that. I thought that was pretty fun. So, I guess they're going to skip Sonic Adventure, because they did Sonic 2 and 3 in one movie. And then I guess they're just going to skip right to Sonic Adventure 2. I guess they're not going to do Sonic Adventure. Whatever. Like, the movies is its own thing. They're obviously taking a lot from the games. Like, the ruin level where they're running through the ruins to get to the Master Emerald. I was just straight up a level from the video games. There was a funny little Easter egg I actually managed to notice this time where the helicopter with gun landing in Green Hills says SA2 on it. So there's a lot of fun little references like that. I clapped when I saw it. So yeah, good movie. I wish that the stupid things weren't in it, but what are you gonna do? It's just really, I really hope they just stop having Sonic be a cringe reference machine. I have no idea how people hold the fucking modern games feet to the fire and go like, Baldy McNosehair, Sonic's cringe now, but they give this fucking movie version of Sonic saying, like The Rock and Vin Diesel, the Winter Soldier. Did you get that from Oprah? Like, fuck you. That's 1 million times fucking worse. Just get rid of that shit. Anyway. I did like it, though. I swear.